As the convention center is tapped to house migrant children, the city works to move out its last homeless residents, how they'll be taken care of after this week.
Plus, there are new details in the deadly shooting at a Colorado grocery store as police name the victims and the suspected gunman.
They were married for more than 70 years before COVID forced them to spend a year apart. We'll show you the positively San Diego moment when this couple was finally able to hold hands again.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
I made a commitment that we would not return these folks to Harbor Drive and wish them well, but instead we'd find them another opportunity.
After nearly a year, the convention center closes out its days as a shelter for San Diegans experiencing homelessness during the pandemic. Good evening, I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. The convention center will not be empty for long. Our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains what's next and how the city is taking care of those moving out.
And happy to say that our 180 men and women are safely tucked in, warm and cozy, having their morning breakfast and coffee.
Alpha Project Director Bob McElroy celebrated the return of residents to one of his organization's 2 bridge shelters in downtown. For the past year, hundreds of San Diego's homeless have instead slept on cots inside the convention center where they could social distance.
A year ago, when we got the word that we were going to bug out of those facilities and come to the convention center, we were a little stressed out.
In the last year, upwards of 4,000 homeless people spent time living in the convention center. The city says it placed 1,300 in permanent housing, with the remaining 550 people in the center transitioning to bridge shelters around downtown. The remainder left on their own accord.
But what we learned here in terms of single point of entry, coordinated intake, working to identify people's needs and then connecting them with appropriate housing solutions is how we've been able to, again, successfully get more than 1,300 people off the streets for good.
Mayor Todd Gloria says the city is following its schedule of concluding the center's time as a homeless shelter at the end of March. But then on Saturday, officials got calls from Health and Human Services asking for the facility to be used as a place to help with the influx of unaccompanied migrant children apprehended at the border. By Monday, they announced it would serve as a refuge for them until July, when conventions are scheduled to resume. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
We are also learning more details about how the convention center will be used for the unaccompanied minors. We're going to have that story coming up on ABC 10 News at 7. Police in Colorado have identified the man who they say shot and killed 10 people at that grocery store in Boulder yesterday. Police say the 21-year-old was transferred to the hospital today. They have not identified a motive. Police also named the people killed in the attack, including a 25-year-old manager at the grocery store where the attack happened, plus a Boulder police officer who was also killed. He was one of the first officers to respond to the shooting.
He lost his life in the line of duty. He was heroically trying to save others.
President Biden has ordered flags lowered to half-staff. It is the second time he's done so in a week after that deadly shooting spree near Atlanta last week.
And tonight, after that deadly spree, people in San Diego are now coming together to condemn anti-Asian hate crimes. 6 of the people killed in the shootings were Asian women in Atlanta. And right now, a vigil for them and other victims of anti-Asian crimes is being held in City Heights. Tonight at 7, we'll hear from some of those who have gathered. Also right now, community leaders have come together to discuss the rise in hate and violence against Asian Americans. Alliant University is hosting the event, and our own Melissa Masiha is moderating. Organizers are not only trying to raise awareness about the trend, but also discuss possible solutions to addressing racism. And police say that they've arrested 2 teenagers in connection to a shooting that killed a 17-year-old boy in a Chula Vista park. 18-year-old Larry Bradford and a 16-year-old boy are both behind bars tonight. The boy's name is not being released because he's a minor. The shooting happened 2 weeks ago at Sunset View Park. Investigators say the victim went to the park with friends and a fight broke out with another group of people. Police are looking for a third person, Deontay Martinez. charges. They say he and the 16-year-old shot the victim before running away. Police have not said if they've identified a motive.
The man charged with plowing into a homeless encampment, killing 3 men, pleaded not guilty today. Our ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco explains the charges that could put the 71-year-old in prison for the rest of his life.
Mr. Voss, can you see me waving to you on your screen? And obviously you can hear me, am I correct?
Craig Voss faced a judge Tuesday by video arraignment. The attorneys also appeared remotely.
Do you agree that I can hear your case this afternoon by video?
Yes, sir.
The 71-year-old waived a formal reading of the charges.
He enters a not guilty plea, denies any and all allegations.
Police arrested Voss the morning of March 15th. The charges against him include 3 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. Investigators say Voss drove his Volvo onto the sidewalk beneath the overpass on B Street near San Diego City College. Dozens of people were sleeping on that sidewalk at the time, trying to seek shelter from the rain. 3 men were killed, 5 others seriously hurt. Police have only said that Voss seemed impaired by a drug or drugs.
He was cooperative, did not try to run away. Like I said, self-identified himself as the driver of the vehicle.
We spoke to a woman who knows Voss. Misty Herrera's father is the landlord of Voss's South Park home. She told 10 News he suffered a stroke more than a year ago. She says his speech was often slurred and difficult to understand.
Bail will remain at $1 million.
Back in court, Voss's attorney did not try to get his $1 million bail lowered. A hearing on that is set for next week. If convicted, he faces 20 years in prison. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
That crash killed Rodney Diffendahl, Randy Ferris, and Walter Jones. They range in age from 40 to 60 years old. San Diego Sheriff's deputies are renewing their push for information on the murder of 2 teenagers 13 years ago. Randy Johnson and Donnell Davis, they were in a car on the 54 in Bonita in March of 2008. Deputies say that they were on their way home from a bowling alley when another car pulled up alongside. Several shots were fired into their car, causing them to crash. Johnson and Davis were killed. Deputies have never been able to identify a suspect. The department and Crime Stoppers are now offering a $51,000 reward for any information that can lead to an arrest.
The commanding officer of a Camp Pendleton-based Marine unit was fired today. This comes after a deadly training accident off San Clemente Island last summer that killed 9 service members. It's considered the deadliest AAV accident in Marine Corps history. Colonel Christopher Bronzy was the commanding officer of the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit. He's now the 2nd official connected to this incident to be fired.
After making it to the red tier, San Diego County is now inching towards the orange tier. Of the 3 metrics the state considers, 2 are already in the orange. Our adjusted case rate per 100,000 needs to be less than 4. Right now it's at about 5.5%. Just 2% of all tests reported yesterday came back positive. That's about 240 new cases. The county also says that 4 more people have died from coronavirus. And people started getting their vaccines at San Diego State's Viejas Arena today. County leaders say that the arena should be accessible to more San Diegans because of how close it is to the bus and trolley lines. They hope it's able to help the area's underserved communities.
Having a vaccine site in such close proximity to the community is something that we're so excited about so that our community can stay healthy and safe and get vaccinated.
They expect up to 700 vaccines to be given each day during its first week. That site will be open Tuesdays through Saturdays from 9:30 to 3:30. Appointments, of course, are required. And a new vaccination site has opened at the Mexican consulate in Little Italy. The consulate partnered with the county to offer vaccines to eligible people. The consulate has served as a COVID testing site since September. Vaccines are now available by appointment only, as we mentioned, Tuesdays through Thursdays. The consulate says this is part of an ongoing initiative aimed at equitable vaccine distribution.
Former San Diego Unified Superintendent Cindy Martin goes before Congress for her confirmation hearing tomorrow. President Biden nominated Martin to serve as Deputy Secretary of Education. Some advocates have been critical of Martin's nomination, saying not enough was done to get San Diego Unified students back into the classroom sooner. Right now, the district is working to bring students back starting April 12th. A group of parents and students say they plan to protest Martin's confirmation tomorrow morning at San Diego Unified's main office. One of the nation's fastest growing spirits company is moving its corporate headquarters to San Diego. Infinium Spirits is relocating from Orange County to the Gaslamp Quarter. The company shared this look at its new offices. It says the relocation will bring nearly 24 jobs to San Diego. Infinium Spirits owns a number of brands, and that includes Seagram's Vodka and Templeton Rye, which is the official whiskey of the Padres.